So now we're on Glasgow Queen Street Station. There's a couple of more charters. Dino, take it away. Oh, here we go. Not speaking to anybody. Just when you get asked a wee question from you, saw this last week or two that there's been a change in the blood doctrine. About autologous blood. You can now store your blood. No. You can now store your own blood and have it transfused back in. How is that possible? What do you mean? Well, because your blood cards that you should carry absolutely forbade that 2 weeks ago, and now you're allowed to do it. How's that happened?
So there was an announcement made by the governing body. Aye. So if you go to the website Jehovahs,
I've watched the video.
Okay, so I can't tell you any more than what's in the video.
Can you explain what the clarification is? Because the thing is, when you watch the video on jw.org, because I go on quite a lot and watch videos, the problem is you can't ask the video a question, you know, you can only listen to it. Yeah. So that's why approaching witnesses in the street and say, well, I've watched the video, I've heard what it says, but can you explain for me what the clarification actually is?
Well, I watched it once last week when it came out. Right? So I'll be honest with you, I've had a very busy week this week. You might be aware it was the memorial yesterday.
Yes, that's right.
So it's something that I need to revisit to watch again. So I watched it, and I remember the reasoning that was given. And I felt that sounded reasonable to me.
Right, so what is the reasoning then?
Well, it's just what's in the video. So
yeah, but you must have, if you're now. So I take it now. If someone in the hall was to store their blood for, say that they're going to get an operation,
and they chose to,
and they've got months in advance, so they can store their blood in preparation, which is a good thing. I'm not decrying that.
Yeah.
So basically now, if someone does that, you're not going to get disfellowship for that. You're not going to be shunned for that. Right. Yeah. Okay. So it's allowable. It's no longer prohibited. Okay. So what is the clarification? What's the reasoning that says that is now allowed?
So like I said, I can't remember. So I watched it last week, right? Or was it 2 weeks ago? So I watched the update, I watched it, and I remember thinking, oh, that's surprising. Surprised me, right? I wasn't expecting it. I thought that sounds reasonable. And then I haven't watched it since. So if you've watched it and you've read about it, if I watched it again, I could only relate to you what's in the video. So this is why I don't think I can.
Do you accept it then? You're maybe not. Yeah, I mean, do you accept the principle that people can now store their blood and use it?
So that is it's a personal choice. Whether you, so some people will still say, no, I don't want to store my blood.
Yeah.
So that's a personal thing. So it's like asking you who do you vote for. It's a personal thing. Some people are asking you what's your salary. It's a personal thing.
Yeah.
So
it's a personal thing now to grow a beard, whereas before it wasn't. Well, at least you could, but you would be looked down upon for wearing a beard in the hall. You wouldn't be allowed to speak on the platform. So, yes, there is personal preferences allowed now, but the point I'm making is I'm trying to get to the root of why blood transfusions is still wrong, but you can transfuse your own blood, and that's okay.
So, you're obviously spoken to a number of Jehovah's Witnesses, right? Because you're trying to get a reasoning for this video, right? So all I can say to you is, when we do the Metropolitan Witnessing work, we just stand with the cards to allow people, if they want to take a magazine, they can take it. And if they want to have, because often if you come and take a magazine and say, I'm interested, it's unlikely the chances of you and me both living in the East End of Glasgow are maybe very small. So we would say, you want someone to come and visit you to discuss things, we can show you how to. But the purpose of us being here is not to have long conversations. So
that's interesting. That's interesting to hear you say that. You're not trying to have conversations.
We're not here to have a debate.
Do you still got the street work?
Do I still do it?
on the doors. So if you started off, say you're doing like Silent Mannequin Avenue, and you asked to do like number 1 to number 35, would you start off at number 1 and then miss the next 2 doors and then do number 5, miss the next 2 doors and do number 8?
I don't know why you're out.
Well, because the reason why I'm thinking that is because I would have thought the most important thing for you, both of you, is to speak to people.
Absolutely, but I don't think you're coming up to me with that genuine interest. I think you're coming to me to try and refute something or question.
No, well, I'll be honest and upfront here. Right.
We're both baptized
Both
witnesses.
of us are baptized witnesses who were servants and pioneers for decades. And we both left over probably the same thing as a change in the generation. I don't know if how long you've been both witnesses for.
So when they announced the second generation?
Yes, because I became a witness in about 1973. So I was around only in 1975, yes. So I went through a lot of changes and I actually accepted a lot of things from the witnesses. But all of a sudden, I kid you not, if you were transported back to 1970, 1980, early 90s when we were witnesses and came back with the things that we now do, you would be viewed, both of you, as an apostates in our version of the Jehovah's Witnesses, because everything you now believe to us back then, you'd say, oh sorry brother, there's absolutely no way that can be true. And that really worries me, because the reason why I say that is because next year, if they announce that birthdays are acceptable, and you just briefly watch this video and just accepted that's a new thing, how would you feel 30 seconds?
I'll accept that. I probably need to watch it again. I'll accept that.
What with birthdays?
No.
The blood, yeah.
So I'll accept that. I probably could watch it again and just basically make sure. I guess it's a bit of it's just. I've just been away. I'm just back. The memorial was this week. I just haven't.
That's fair.
It's fair because literally I spoke to a couple of Carters where I live in Dumfries, and they come up here and I said, and one of the lasses knew about it, and the other lasses did not know about this change. And the reason why this is so important, to grow a beard is a personal issue, but if perchance that you had a son or a daughter or a wife who last year lost their life, knowing an operation was coming up and was forbade in storing their own blood, and now 1 year you're thinking, my goodness, if my wife or my child had the same operation 12 months later, that they would still be with us, how would you feel personally? You must have been, you would, honestly, heart of heart, if you're being honest with me now, you'd say, do you know what, I don't know whether I could continue being a witness.
Potentially, it would be very challenging to how they
well,
feel.
I absolutely appreciate your honesty.
It would be very challenging to how they feel.
Yes.
But like I said, you're saying we are here to have conversations.
Yeah.
But we're not here to have conversations with people who, with ex-brothers or sisters who have chosen to leave and then now are coming here to sort of question things. So I appreciate that something may have happened in your life or there's been a change with direction. There's been a governing body update that's happened, and you're like, you know what, that's not for me anymore, and you've chosen to stop being a Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah.
You're completely within your right.
Okay.
But for me here today, I'm not here to have that conversation. So if it's okay with you, I'm just going to ask if we can just politely stop the conversation.
Right, it's a shame to be honest with you, because I speak to a lot of Carters. I was only in Australia 4 weeks ago, and I met a couple of you guys there, and I spoke to them and I said to them, I said, do you know what, see when I used to pioneer, I used to stand on the streets and everybody came past here, we gave them a leaflet, because we always thought was, this may be the only opportunity they can learn the truth. And maybe they don't have the time to speak to us now, but they'll go away and read the leaflet later on. And I says, you two sitting here now, not approaching people, giving out leaflets. I said to them, I says, do you know what, I can't imagine Jesus doing this, and I feel sorry for you. And do you know what, both of them agreed with me. They actually thought they would be constrained, but they really would love to speak to this couple here and that couple there, and the guy down here is obviously is homeless, and like to tell them about the truth, but you can't.
You know what, I think if Jesus was standing here, I don't think he would refuse to speak to myself.
I don't think he would either.
I'm not refusing to speak to you, I'm just choosing not to have this conversation at this point in time. So if you're asking me about a video that came out 2 weeks ago, and I'm admitting that I need to watch it again.
Yes, I appreciate you being as
Have
candid
you
and
seen the
honest as
video?
that.
I've not got a chance to watch it with family yet.
Wow.
But you see, I find it a wee bit, I know it's a very recent thing, but it's such a big major change. If you're going to stand on the street, people who know about this are going to ask
And
you about that.
it's not just
a major
Jehovah's Witnesses,
change.
it was in the BBC News as well. The BBC News ran on this and just saying major change with the blood, with the witnesses. I'm really surprised that you being here, obviously your cult doesn't, nowhere does it say Jehovah's Witnesses, and so maybe they don't know you Jehovah's Witnesses because it just says jw.org. But I would have thought that you should be here absolutely prepared for people to come to you and say, hold on a second guys, what's happened here? I'm really surprised that you haven't taken the time to, I can only say please tonight watch the video, so when other witnesses or ex-witnesses or even people in the public come and say, you're Jehovah's Witnesses, can you explain that to us? If you can't defend your own faith, we've got no chance. You know, appreciate that. Thanks for your time. Anyway,
Watch the video. What I would say, I will leave on this. What I got from the video was that Garrett Ross is saying that it's a kind of personal conscience matter. What's the point I'm going to be? No, it's just going in my head now.
it's getting tall.
Yeah, I know. I can see now.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
That's what it is.
Which
He
congregation you in?
says,
Enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you for coming to say hello.
just leave it at this point. He says that the Bible doesn't comment on the use of your own blood. It doesn't comment on the use of your own blood for medical care. So that made me think, well, the Bible doesn't comment on the use of blood for any medical care. So if it's okay to take your own stored blood, because the Bible doesn't comment on it, then why is blood transfusion from someone else still prohibited? Thank you for your work. Something to think about. Thank you.
Anyway, so definitely watch that video, and I can only say don't let your cognitive dissonance kick in. Actually think about it and say, do you know what? This doesn't make any sense.
Because I actually think in a few months' time, the governing body are going to lift the prohibition on all blood transfusion. I actually think using that reasoning that Garrett Roche has used, it's a precursor to them basically saying all blood transfusions will just be personal conscience from now on. That's what's going to happen.
It may just explain why.
Sorry, we're going down
We're
that
going
way, so
there.
we're going to speak to whoever's down there as well.
So
Well, you'd prefer us not to, but yeah, but it's our preference to speak to them. Right, okay.
let me explain. Who was that governing body member who chucked it? He got told to boo off. What was his name again? The guy with the tight pants. Didn't like
the one
the tight
that
pants.
liked the whiskey.
No, he liked the whiskey. What's his name again?
No,
Right, yeah. Apparently we've got the cart to ourselves, so we are left to the carts. Me and Dino have got the carts, so
we'll hold the fort.
we'll look after carts. Oh no, he's off to get it now. We'll get the carts.
We'll see if there's anybody else down there. Probably
They'll be going. What time is it? Oh, it's like, I thought still got half an hour. They're going. They'll be going to. They'll be saying, "Oh no, there's two Jehovah's Witnesses on the wall back here." Oh dear, unbelievable. This is it. This is how they defend their faith now. It's like, oh, that's the same as our dog. It's like our wee doogies. Yeah, there's a door. They're off. We've busted another car. coffee.
You'd rather go than answer our questions.
We are having a lovely day. It'd be lovely if we could have a conversation with you. And they're off. So just preach God's word boldly. And they've gone. Oh, Jesus Christ. We should come here every day.
We're cleaning up the streets of Glasgow.